You're listening to This Week in the World of Football, which is coming to you from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. The purpose of this podcast is to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. The intent is to educate, inform, and entertain you, the listener, with the glorious buffet that is the world of football, while also keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. You can find this show on a multitude of podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. Timestamps are provided in the show description, so you can jump to the topics you really want to listen to. So without further ado, let's kick off this week's show.
Hello, everyone. This is episode 388 for April 8th, 2025, and I am your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, the CFL has a new commissioner. Coastal Carolina is giving away free food at their college football games this fall. And last Friday, Adam and I, as well as Aaron, were in attendance at the inaugural home game for the IFL's IFL Freight. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the table from me, as always, is my son, Adam.
I'm giving away free food.
Well, pass some over here. I'm starving.
I was going to do the whole line from Jack Nicholson from Batman, food, who do you trust?
I'm giving away free money.
I'm giving away free money. And where is the Batman? He's at home washing his tights. Yep, there we go. Okay, we got the whole bit out. Okay,
we all know the line.
I got it out of my system.
Not only do we have a weekly podcast, but we also make YouTube videos as well. We currently have over 500 videos on our YouTube channel, including a couple of recent ones. Our IFL Travelogue, where we went to see the Tulsa Oilers at the Fishers Freight last Friday night. Man, what a good time that was.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. And our AF1 Week 4 recap, which we recorded and posted last night.
Yeah. I didn't see any other AF1 recaps from some of the people we follow, so I don't know what the deal is. So I'm not saying we're the only game in town this week, but
it probably takes them a day or so.
Get it while it's hot. I guess we got spicy takes, and I think I posted it in like a AF1 forum on Facebook, and somebody made it sound like I was talking bad about the Firebirds, but I mean, I kind of was, but I wasn't. And by talking bad, I just mean like they had a sloppy start, and we'll talk about them in a second, and I just think Billings is a better team still. So sue me.
Okay. Oh, don't say that out loud.
Oh, yeah. We don't have a lawyer.
And then we have an upcoming video. Next week we'll have our Week 5 recap of the AF1.
Oh, yeah. That's about all we got on the docket. That's weird for us.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. All right, so let's begin our weekly tour around the world of football, and we're going to start off this week with scores from Arena Football 1. It was Week 4, and on Thursday night it was the Billings Outlaws over the Washington Wolfpack, 61-23. I did not get a chance to see this game. I've been so busy this past weekend, and
you had a whole house getting remodeled.
Yeah,
and you're between that and then you're prepping to do our trip the next day.
Yep.
So yeah, I get it. You're busy, man. I mean, I still found time, to watch some game. You can put that app on your phone, so as you're doing stuff, you can like look at your phone and watch some clips here and there.
Well, I did see some highlights. You pointed me towards highlights of the games I didn't see over the weekend, but as usual, Billings came out on top big, and they got a big game coming up this week, which we'll talk about. But do you have any takeaways from the Billings?
I mean, other than I think Billings just looks so good. Mm-hmm. I think they just have a great roster. Obviously, I mean, we try not to be biased because we, are friends with Mr. Steven Titus, the owner of the team now.
Right.
You more so than me, but just I don't know the way they run their team in 2 games, because it sucks because we've only got a small sample size. Because in their first game, they were very fullback heavy. They were doing a lot of stuff with that fullback. Second game, not so much. I think it's McFadden, the fullback,
sure.
McFarland. I forget his name now at the top of my head. Now that I want to talk about him, but their fullback, number 13, was a big instrumental part of their win in the first week of the season, or their first game. Then I feel like I didn't see him a whole lot in the second game. So it's like Coach is just kind of keeping him in his hip pocket, and we're waiting for Albany to see if they pull out a whole bag of tricks, because they were doing a lot of different stuff. So, I mean, you don't want to empty everything just yet. Yeah. So I think they'll be fine, and we'll see. Even if they don't beat Albany, it should be a great game.
Oh,
we'll talk about
absolutely.
that in a bit. But Billings, they just have the makings of a great team. They've been a great team. Obviously, they won the championship last year when they were in the AFL, and I think they're poised to make another run.
Absolutely.
And then for the Wolfpack, finally got their uniforms. That was something we've been waiting for. They had a bye week to figure all that out, and they finally got those nice, I don't know if you want to call it aquamarine bluish.
Yeah, kind of an aqua color.
They have one of the best color schemes in the league, the best helmet in the league.
Yep. Oh, their helmet is awesome.
If it weren't for those black pants, I'd say it's probably the best uniform combo in the league. Even though I like Albany's uniforms quite a bit. We still have a few teams' uniforms to see, like home and away.
Right.
Because Billings hasn't pulled out their home unis yet. And there's some alternate uniforms out there still to make their debut. But for Washington, that might be your highlight, is your uniforms did look pretty good. They got a lot to work on the field, it looks like.
Yeah. All right, on Friday night, it was the Nashville Cats over the Oregon Lightning, 40-32, in a much closer game. Again, I didn't see much of this, just some highlights. But
I watched a little bit of this one also. Eli Gold on the call again is must-watch TV for me. It doesn't matter if the game is a drubbing or not. This one ended up being closer in the end, but hearing Eli Gold on the call is just, it's magic, and they got to find a way to get Eli Gold to, I don't know, meet up with said Bonner and Ari Wolf and do like a 3-man broadcast.
Oh man, that would be,
because I would pay money to see something like that or to hear something like that, because
that'd be a crowded press box.
It would, but it would be absolute gold, pun intended, and you know it would be. I think, gosh, it would be like the days of ESPN or Monday Night Football, doing like the 3-man broadcast. God, I could just hear Eli Gold just, it'd be fantastic.
All right, quit gushing
I
about
can't.
it.
I have to gush whenever we get a chance to talk Eli Gold. We can't stop.
Now, didn't Oregon kind of have the lead early, and then Nashville kind of came back and
I think Nashville kind of had their number from the beginning, but Oregon did start to climb back in the second half. They definitely outscored them in the second half, and especially the fourth quarter, to get within the 8 points, but it just wasn't enough. Nashville, third quarterback in 3 games for them. We talked about him, Tyler. I don't have the notes in front of me from last night. From that,
check out our weekly recap.
Yeah, we got a little more in depth on the weekly recap.
We did much better on that one.
But their third quarterback, he played in the X League. We talked about that.
Yep.
So we'll see if Nashville can keep improving going forward. I thought they've steadily gotten better each game. Definitely, this was their best game so far, and we'll see how they look in their next outing.
Yeah. Okay, and then on Sunday night, the Vice game was the Albany Firebirds over the Salina Liberty, 57-27. I did actually watch this game.
Okay, finally, so you can talk about something.
I DVR'd it, and I was going back and forth. Albany was up 7-0 at the end of the first quarter, and they were up 21-20 at halftime. It doesn't get any closer than that. It was a very tightly fought game until halftime. The only difference was a missed extra point.
It was very sloppy by both teams. There were times where they looked good, and then times where even Albany looked sluggish. And something we didn't talk about or touch on in the video is Albany's travel. Apparently, they didn't show up till like 1 o'clock.
Oh, in the morning, yeah.
In the morning or something before the game, which, is unfortunate. You'd hope that you would get a little more time there, but, travel in these other smaller leagues, you just got to deal with it. And Albany, clearly, they dealt with it. They won the game. They won big. But it clearly, maybe early on, showed signs that, the travel might have affected them a little bit. But you can't, if you're that kind of team, it didn't affect them. At the end of the day, it didn't affect them. Yep. And you can't let it affect you in this sport because each game matters. And Albany clearly was up to the task at the end. And for Salina, they got to figure out what worked in the first half and how they can figure out a way to make that last the whole game for a change. Because they've played a couple of good halves. They played a very good first half last week against Corpus Christi, or their last game against Corpus Christi. Very good first half against a very good Albany team. They just got the mistakes, the turnovers killed them. Their defense could only hold on for so long before Albany just broke the dam open and kept scoring. So
Salina was only down by 1 point at halftime. Come into the third quarter, and they were shut out in the third quarter, 13-0. One of the bright spots in the game, for Albany, was their kicker, Henry Nell. he kicked a 50-yard field goal, and that was a thing of beauty to see that live on TV. Obviously, an AF1 record this year. Not too much farther that you can get. I think.
I think you got 8 more yards you could go.
Well, you've got that. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 58 is as far as you can go because of end zone, and if you're backed up like at your own 1 yard line, there's still a little gap in there to get towards the back of the end zone.
Yeah,
it'd be tight, but I want to. What a 58 yarder? I'm sure Tim or somebody would correct us on what the longest possible could actually be. I'm not a math major right now, so.
Yeah, 58 sounds about right.
We just record podcasts. We're not mathematicians.
Yeah. Obviously, math is not our strong suit.
Yeah, that diploma Randy's got on the wall, it's made in crayon. So
I haven't had a math class since I was in 9th grade.
And it shows.
Let's see. Salina scored 2 touchdowns in the final minute of the game, but it was too little, too late. They committed 4 turnovers in the game. You just can't do that. I think it was a couple of interceptions, maybe 3 interceptions and a fumble or something. I forget exactly what it was. But
I don't know where you're getting Salina scoring 2 touchdowns in the final minute because they only scored 6 points in the whole second half. So,
yeah, that was the 2 touchdowns.
No, how can you score 2 touchdowns and only get 6 points in the second half? I think you messed up your note. So, because at the end of the game it was Albany that threw a junk time touchdown as time expired. Salina couldn't get in the end zone to save their life in the second half.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Maybe it was just one. Yeah, it must have been just one. Must have been one touchdown for each team in the final minute.
Maybe, but Salina just couldn't put anything together. Hopefully going forward, they got a very interesting matchup coming up, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, and the last thing from this game is that when Albany was up 27-20 in the third quarter, Vice went to a commercial, and when they came back from the commercial, the score was 34-20. And I thought, because I was fast-forwarding, I thought I went too far or skipped ahead too far, but no, they obviously didn't stop playing during the commercial break, and they scored another touchdown, so I didn't get to see that one. So that was my only criticism from the broadcast. Otherwise, it's always a good broadcast. They got lots of replays.
Yeah.
You know, the play-by-play is good with Ari and Said, and it's just a quality broadcast.
Just a few audio hiccups with Sofia Gutierrez, the sideline reporter.
Yes.
We mentioned that on the show. And then I also brought up that there was a moment where the play stopped on the field and the announcers were wondering if the people at the game thought that they were taking a TV timeout when they weren't. So there's that hiccup, so I wonder if that might have led to something eventually that
was probably
where something else got mixed up and they accidentally went to a TV break when they weren't supposed to. Yep. So just stuff to clean up going forward. Because I was kind of in and out watching the game. I was prepping. I mean, it was the last night of spring break, so we're getting ready to go back into the full routine. So when I came back, I didn't notice that anything was different. I was like, oh, I guess I just missed an Albany score. Big surprise.
Yeah. All right, so looking ahead to Week 5 in the AF1, it's going to be the Southwest Kansas Storm at the 0-3 Salina Liberty.
I really give Salina a shot in this game. I think Southwest Kansas, they're on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah.
I think if there's a time for Salina to show some life, this is the game.
There you go.
These two teams look eerily similar, too, with the quarterback play. They both play out of the shotgun quite a bit. So this should actually be a better game and matchup than I think people are going to give it credit for.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a nice close game right up to the end.
Right.
Let's see, the other games, Billings Outlaws at 2-0, traveling to Albany to take on the Firebirds, who are 3-0. That is going to be the game of the week. I can't wait to see that game.
The Vice game.
Yep. And then Corpus Christi Tritons at 2-0 are going to be taking on the road, the Washington Wolfpack.
And that should be interesting just because it'll be the Tritons' first game against a team not named the Salina Liberty.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So in the AF1, Oregon Lightning and Nashville Cats have a bye next week in the schedule.
Yep. All right. We are going to move on to the National Arena League, which had a couple of games this past weekend, but I think a lot of the drama was off the field this week, as we'll get into. Thursday night saw the Idaho Horsemen defeat the Shreveport Rougarou 50-40. Mm-hmm. What a weird name, Rougarou. You read it on paper, then you try to say it out loud. It's weird.
It's not spelled anywhere close to what I thought it would be.
Right.
But now that I've seen it, it makes sense, so I can spell it fine now.
Yeah. And then Saturday saw the Wheeling Miners get their first victory of the season and as a part of the National Arena League as they defeated the Carolina Cobras 48-30. 8. And then we get into some of the stuff that happened off the field. And as far as we know, these are the 3 big stories. The Omaha Beef surprisingly parted ways with their head coach during their off week, Mike Tatum, and their offensive coordinator, James Jerry. In a statement, the team said that they were just looking at kind of refocusing their efforts with their coaching staff or recalibrating, whatever the terminology is you put out there for probably covering up, like, we just didn't get along with this guy, so we gave him the boot. So,
But what was their record?
they're 3-0.
3-0.
And they won the championship last year.
Yeah.
So undefeated. Last
something's
season's
going on that we
champions,
don't know about.
Clearly there's something. Yeah, clearly there is something else happening there.
Yep.
Also happening after the Carolina Cobras lost to the Miners on Saturday night, the Cobras parted ways. Or actually, Brandon Negron, the head coach, announced via his Facebook that he'd be leaving the team. He put out a nice little letter on his social media there. A bit of a surprise, after the loss. But not as surprising as this next news story, which saw the Omaha Beef announcing said Brandon Negron, or however you say his last name, as their new head coach. So, what a wild turn of events. You're staying in the same league. You're jumping to a different team.
Yep.
A team that's 3-0 now.
Yeah.
So,
I'll take that 3-0 team.
we'll see what we can make of these guys. Nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Just
That was a weird turn of events.
Wild turn of events. Weird to see that pop through the news feed. While we follow the National Arena League, it's not like we get every story. And these head coaching changes were very surprising, especially so early in the season.
Yep.
So, and that's all I have for the National Arena League's news stories. They have 4 games coming up for their Week 6. Thursday night, we'll see the Carolina Cobras travel to Idaho to take on the Horsemen. The Cobras still haven't, as far as I've seen, announced a new head coach name. I could be mistaken. I just didn't see it anywhere as I was searching before the show.
It's probably the guy that came from
that'd
Omaha.
be funny. That'd be funny. Saturday night, the Louisville Savage are taking on the Shreveport Rougarou. This is a non-league exhibition game. And then also Saturday, the Las Vegas Kings are traveling to take on the Colorado Spartans. Again, another non-league exhibition game.
Yep.
And then Sunday, finally, a game that matters as the Omaha Beef with their new head coach will go to Beaumont to take on the Renegades. So this should be interesting to see this new head coach take this team and go on the road. So that is it for the National Arena League.
All right, moving on to the Indoor Football League. This was week 3 for them. On Friday night, it was the Fishers Freight over the Tulsa Oilers 40-29 in a game that we were at. Man, was this fun.
It was very fun. Great atmosphere.
Their field was gorgeous. The gray and blue, gray field with blue stripes. The stadium they were at was really cool. They had a great gift shop with a ton of stuff. I mean, that's the way a gift shop should be. It was almost like an NFL gift shop with all the stuff they had because, not only did they have Fisher's Freight merchandise, but they've got a hockey team there too. I forget the name of the hockey
Indy
team.
Fuel.
Indy Fuel, yes, and probably some other teams that play there. So
they have a volleyball team that
could
plays
be,
there
could be
as well. So.
But yeah, there's just so much cool stuff, and everything we experienced was first class. I mean, just from the stadium to the players, the uniforms, the field, the game itself, the pregame, the halftime stuff, everything was really, really done well. And we can't say enough good things about the Fishers Freight team.
This was a professional organization, it seems like, from the top down. Everybody we interacted with was great, and we'd like to also give a special thanks to Joe, the director of digital marketing there, who
Joe Zolo.
Yep, Joe Zola, who hooked us up.
Yep.
We got to meet him before the game, and after the game, he was really helpful to us.
Yep, he set up our interviews with the head coach, Dixie Wooten.
Yep.
And JT Stokes.
Yes, JT Stokes.
Who I kept calling TJ, and he kept.
I wish I could. Yep. Okay. So everybody,
correcting me.
We didn't put this in the video as much as we wanted to. Randy accidentally calling JT TJ.
Not once, but I think 3 times.
3 times. The first time he was nice enough and corrected you. The second time Aaron and I called you out for it. And the third time was at the very end of the interview that I cut off.
Yeah.
And he just kind of looked at you and walked away. And I figured that for sure ruined any chances we ever had of going back to a Fisher's Freight game and talking to players. So
yeah, but
JT, we apologize. I tried to warn you about Randy.
But you did a very nice job of putting a video together. You had it ready the next day. I couldn't believe that. I thought it'd take you a couple days.
I churned it out.
But
well, hold on. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Thanks for getting the narration put together. I mean, I put that script together for you, and
I had to edit it quite a bit.
You made some tweaks.
Your script was awful.
And, you made some tweaks, and you sent back the audio with only a couple of revisions. So that's called teamwork, Randy, and sometimes we're good at it.
Sometimes,
but no, look,
not very often.
And then we beat Pat McAfee to the punch. I just want to say that. Talk about the Fisher's Freight.
Yeah, one of his people was at the game that night, and they were showing some scenes. And
it was cool seeing them talk about that on their show.
Yeah, I kept looking because I saw some highlights from a local Indianapolis TV station, and I kept looking to see if we were on TV, like after the game and whatnot, but didn't see us.
There were some other people from other arena indoor Twitter pages and YouTube channels I've seen. I forget which one at the top of my head. It might have been Shady Sports. They had somebody there at the game or somebody feeding them pictures from the game. I kept looking. I was like, "Oh, are we on the other side of the sideline?" But I think it was on the other end of the field. I kept getting thrown by which end of the field things were happening on, like looking at pictures and videos. So it was a fun time.
And we got recognized.
Oh, yeah, that interaction. I'll tell that story real quick. I saw somebody, like, Dad, we got there before the game. It was a little early, so people were still filing in. So we were taking video while the seats were all empty of the
field.
Going
all around the stadium,
checking it out. And Dad's taking video. I'm kind of doing the same thing. And I just happened to see somebody wearing a Albany Firebird sweatshirt walking down the steps. And I'm walking by him, and I just look at him. I go, "Hey, you're wearing the wrong type of attire for an indoor football game." And he just laughed and said that he was an Indiana Firebirds fan, and this is the closest merch he could get. And it was a brand new one because it had the AF1 logo on the sleeve.
Right.
And we got to talking a little bit, and he told me, he's like, "Yeah, you're probably too young to remember that the Firebirds used to play in Indiana." And I was like, whoa. I don't know how young you think I am, but I remember them, and we kind of do a podcast about him. And he looked at me, he's like, "Wait a minute. You do look kind of familiar." And then the moment Dad walked up, he recognized Dad instantly. He's like, "I know you. I watch your YouTube stuff." So that was fun. I didn't catch his name. He probably said it. And I
think he did, but it was kind of noisy with the music and all that.
And clearly it was like he was trying to get to his seats with his kid.
Yep.
And we were just kind of doing our thing. So we apologize if you're listening, bud. But we appreciate running into somebody who... I would say because he recognized it. It took a second. I'm not going to say he just, "I know you guys" right off the bat. No, it's just cool running into other fans and everybody just having a good interaction with one another.
Yeah. Yep. Like I said, just a great time. It was the drive home. We got home like at 2:00 in the morning. We drove straight back. The game started at
It was
6
a
o'clock,
monsoon outside.
Oh
after
gosh,
the game.
Lightning and thunder, and we ran into some really heavy rain. I'm glad you were driving through that, not me.
Yeah, I was. Oh, man, that was stressful.
But yeah, we dropped Aaron off in Fort Wayne and just kept on going home, and got home around 2:00 in the morning.
Yep, I was tired the next day.
All right, so let's go over the rest of the scores in the IFL last weekend. On Saturday, it was the Quad City Steamwheelers over the Iowa Barnstormers, 52-38. On Sunday, the Arizona Rattlers over the Green Bay Blizzard, 51-47. The winning touchdown for Arizona came with 3 seconds remaining in the game, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Green Bay had a chance at a Hail Mary on one final play, and it got knocked away. So it was a pretty exciting ending.
I just saw that the Rattlers definitely had to come back, and while yes, that score happened with a few seconds left, they were still down by a couple of scores with minutes to go in that game. So they really clawed their way back and got that victory to stab the hearts of that Green Bay Blizzard crowd there. That must have been tough.
Yep. Let's see. Also on Sunday, it was the Jacksonville Sharks over the Vegas Nighthawks, 36-19. And finally on Sunday, the Bay Area Panthers over the San Diego Strike Force, 41-18. Coming up this weekend, Week 4 action in the IFL, it is 2 games on Friday. Tulsa Oilers at Green Bay Blizzard. San Diego Strike Force at the Vegas Nighthawks. And on Saturday, they have 3 games. Fisher's Freight at the Massachusetts Pirates. Iowa Barnstormers at the Quad City Steamwheelers, which is a rematch from this week. And the Jacksonville Sharks at the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Then on Sunday, it's the Northern Arizona Wranglers at the Bay Area Panthers.
All right, we are going to jump on over and talk United Football League. They are in their second week of their 2025 campaign, and Friday night saw the Birmingham Stallions defeat our beloved Michigan Panthers 21-12. A game we couldn't watch live because, well, we were at the Fisher's Freight game. But Birmingham we knew would probably be a tough team, and they are now 6-0 against the Michigan Panthers, dating back to the USFL days. When this relaunch started a few years back.
Yep.
So that's a tough one to see. But we're looking forward to seeing our Panthers this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
Then Saturday saw the DC Defenders take out the Memphis Showboat 17-12. Sunday saw the Arlington Renegades defeat the Houston Roughnecks 11-9.
Ooh, that was a squeaker.
What a weird score that final score that had to be.
Scoregami?
Yeah, it might have been a UFL scoregami for sure. But look, I don't know if we mentioned it last week. The Arlington Renegades going back to the bandit helmet with the logo with the cowboy hat and the
not the
bandit.
R.
No longer the R. I'm so happy they went back to that other logo. About time. That logo is so cool. As much as I dog on the cowboy hat with the bandana around the mouth.
Yeah.
Then finally Sunday saw the St. Louis Battlehawks defeat the San Antonio Brahmas 26-9. Are the Battlehawks the team to beat in the UFL?
Well, I don't know. Birmingham still looks good. I mean, they've been good every year, and I wouldn't count them out.
That's probably a good bet. Then going into week 3 next week, Friday we'll see the Arlington Renegades travel to Birmingham to take on the Stallions. The Houston Roughnecks will take on the Memphis Showboats on Saturday. Sunday, in the game we will be at, the San Antonio Brahmas come up to Michigan to take on the Panthers at Ford Field. We are excited to go to that game.
It's going to be an early game because it kicks off at noon.
We'll be ready. Randy will have a hot dog in his hand.
Oh, man.
We'll be excited, and we're taking a few family members.
Yep.
Future family members, I guess.
I didn't get a chance to get a hot dog at the Fisher's Freight game.
No, we didn't eat anything. We just stayed in our seats.
I know it. Once we got to our seats, we never left.
I just had a beer. That's all I had was the Freight beer.
Yep.
All right, and then Sunday, the DC Defenders will travel to St. Louis to take on the Battlehawks. That should be a great game.
Okay. All right, so now it's time to take a look at some of the other happenings in the world of football. We're going to start in the NFL. This is a story I forgot to include last week. We were talking quite a bit last week about the owners' meetings and some of the stuff that came out of it. This was one thing that came out, and I neglected to mention it last week.
I don't blame you because it was on April Fool's Day.
Well,
and I thought the story was a joke. I'm not kidding. I was looking around like, is this a joke? Is this real?
No.
But apparently it's real.
Yep. NFL owners approved a proposal by the competition committee to incorporate player, coach, and team statistics from the All-America Football Conference, which played from 1946 to 1945 until they merged with the NFL. And they're going to bring those statistics into the official record books. Now, you're wondering why they haven't done it, since 1950.
I am.
But from what I heard, they didn't have all of the complete stats from the AAFC, and it's taken them this long to compile everything to where they feel like, okay, now we actually have good stats for all those years and all those games, and so now they're ready to incorporate them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because only 3 teams were brought in, the Browns, the Colts, and
the 49ers.
The 49ers, yep, and the other teams just kind of went away, but the 2 leagues did merge, and so now their stats are going to be part of the NFL stats. Now, this gives Paul Brown an additional 52 regular season wins, regular season and playoff wins. So he goes from having 170 total wins to 222, and moves him from 22nd place all time to 7th in the NFL. In the 1948 season, the Browns went 14-0 in the regular season and then won the championship game for a perfect 15-0 season. Only the 1972 Miami Dolphins have a better season with a 17-0 record that ended in a Super Bowl championship. These are just some examples of some of the stats and players that are being upgraded. AAFC Baltimore Colts quarterback Y.A. Tittle now moves from 65th in career passing yards to 44th place, placing him between Steve Young and Troy Aikman. Browns fullback Marion Motley's 5.7 yards per carry are the best ever for any running back with at least 750 carries, and 4th best of any player in NFL history. Browns kicker Lou Groza moves from 41st all-time in scoring to 24th with 1,608 points. So, there's more than that, but these are just some of the big examples from some of the stars from the AAFC, and then into the NFL.
Yep, I think the other big thing was people now talking that the Browns can now add 4 championships to their whatever you want to call it. Like, we've won this many championships, including the NFL titles they eventually would win in the 50s.
Yep.
So I don't know. When I saw this, I was like, this is cool. But then I was like, oh, wait, it's April Fool's Day, so I don't believe any of this. But then I found out it was true, and I was like, oh, this is cool again. So
yeah, it's hard to believe stuff on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, it's just terrible that the owners' meetings were happening during this because I don't know what to believe.
Right, yeah. Yep.
But good for them. I think that's cool that they're incorporating all these, especially if they did that for the original American football, or not the original American Football League, but the one that eventually merged.
The AFL of the 60s.
Yes, when that one merged and they incorporated all those stats.
Right.
So I think it's cool that they did that for the AAFC. And I don't think there's any other leagues that the NFL needs to incorporate after that. Hopefully this is the last of it, and I think so. Because I think it's cool. Paul Brown moves up the list.
Yes.
I think it's funny now seeing a YA title between Aikman and Young. I think that's a cool looking thing there.
Yeah. In fact, I had forgotten that YA Tittle played in the AAFC. I thought, YA Tittle, did he play? And I had to look him up. Yep, he played for the Baltimore Colts a year or two there. So, yeah, very interesting. All right, moving on to some CFL news. A lot of CFL news this week. The CFL Board of Governors has appointed Stuart Johnston, who is the president of the TSN Sports Network up in Canada and a Bell Media executive. He's been appointed the 15th commissioner in the CFL's history. He will officially take over the role on April 24th, just days before the CFL draft. He's a name that came out of nowhere. Yeah. Just a few days before that, I saw an article that said he was the leading candidate, and then 2 days later, boom, they made the announcement.
Hey, Canada moves fast, okay? Much like their style of game on the field.
Uh-huh.
But no, I have no idea who this guy was.
Yeah.
I just think it's good that they got a guy in place before even the draft is a good move.
Yeah.
So
the fact that he's with TSN Sports, who broadcasts all their games, he's
do a very good job.
He knows the importance of the CFL in Canada, and I think hopefully he'll do a good job. Remains to see what sort of things he's going to say are important. With Randy Ambrosi, he tried his darndest to get a 10th team during his time, and it never happened. Now, is this guy going to take up that mantle, or is he going to concentrate on other things? We'll just have to wait and see what his agenda is going to be for the league.
I'd be very curious to see. I don't know if he's done any press conferences yet, or
not that I know. I think they're doing an official thing here next week, I think.
I'd be curious to see what he says, if he says anything. I'm sure our friends that are more attuned to the behind-the-scenes stuff of the CFL could probably tell us if this guy was a good pick or not. I haven't heard anything negative yet, so I'll take that as a good sign. I think the priority should be focus on the teams you have. I mean, while we want a 10th team, sure. I think they're still. I mean, I think they're in a pretty stable place. We had such a good time at the Grey Cup. I think we saw a lot of stability, but I think just a couple little things. Probably they just got to make sure you get settled down or you get locked in. Then you can start moving forward, because I think the addition of CFL Plus has been incredible for the CFL.
Yeah, the last couple of years that's been really good.
I think it's been an incredible tool for them, and they can just keep using that to build and expand, and hopefully cracking into the U.S. I think that's their big market they got to start tapping into, because I think in springtime we got the UFL, we got our indoors and arena stuff, but when June hits and the CFL starts play, they got to figure out to start getting that appetite wet for American fans who are like, we're still waiting for the NFL, and they don't know anything else.
Right.
Like, they could start tapping that market. I think is something that maybe they need to start looking at a way to.
Yeah, June, July, and into August. The CFL is playing, and they can. That's when they should really hit the U.S. market hard.
Now, my question is, when we're trying to buy some CFL merch this year, what are those tariffs going to do to that stuff?
Don't even talk about that.
Oh, that's right. Your political sciences.
Well, see, if we go to Canada and buy it, then it won't cost us anymore.
Oh, that's a good call. Okay, so we're going to Canada.
I don't know about buying anything online.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd ask you, but like I said, your political sciences degree is also made in crayon.
Let's see. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have invested $1.8 million in amateur football. They will distribute 1,000 brand new helmets to more than 125 football teams throughout the province of Saskatchewan, from small-town six-man football teams to large city high school football programs.
Wow, a trend that
Yeah.
we've been seeing down here.
Seen it here in the States, and it's going on in Canada too.
Yeah, good to see. Love to see it. While football is a great game, I think the fact that it can reverberate throughout a community and through even your state, your province, or what have you, football is a powerful thing, and it's much more than just a game on a screen or a match in person. It's community.
Brings
and
communities together.
There's kids that will benefit from this, and I think that's awesome.
Sure. And in another story, right after that, I saw another story that said last year the Winnipeg Blue Bombers donated $930,000 to amateur football teams in the province of Manitoba. They donated 180 helmets to more than 35 schools and community programs across the Winnipeg High School Football League and the Rural Manitoba Football League. They also helped launch the Girls High School Flag Football League in 2024, in which over 200 athletes participated in the inaugural season. And that's another thing, is the girls flag football is another big thing with NFL teams and college teams, and
it's all growing, and I think it's all for the better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's awesome.
Yep. So I'm sure a lot of people don't hear anything about these CFL teams doing stuff like that. But,
no.
But I found both of those stories, and I found this third one here. In fact, I found this one just today. I don't know if you probably haven't heard this.
I saw this last night, and I screenshot it because I usually, if I see a story that I'm like, I don't know if Dad would have discovered this particular nugget of information.
I usually
then
do.
you surprise me, and you do. Like, I don't know if you have a Mountie that comes by and delivers you the news and keeps you up to date on what's happening up there in the good old land of Canada. But you did a good job today with this one.
I've joined a lot of CFL news sites and whatnot. So, I get my news pretty regularly from Canada. All right. Anyway, we've got some more details on the Stampede Bowl, which we talked about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the Calgary versus Winnipeg game that's going to take place on July 3rd. They just announced, evidently last night, I thought it was today, but they're going to feature a halftime performance by Bret Michaels, who is the lead singer of Poison, at halftime of the game. Also, the presidents of the two teams, Jay McNeil of Calgary and Wade Miller of Winnipeg, have reportedly made a friendly wager on the game. The losing team will make a $25,000 donation to the Purolator Tackle Hunger charity in the winning city's market. So, it's kind of like the Banjo Bowl. Losing team makes a donation to the winning team. Same thing going on here. Let's see. A video message from the new commissioner, Stuart Johnston, will also be played to the fans during that game. And they're calling this game the greatest outdoor show on earth meets the greatest outdoor show on turf. I thought that was a pretty cool little slogan there for that game.
That's quite the mouthful.
It is, but
glad to see they're having fun with it.
Yeah, because this game is going to take place the day before the Calgary Stampede kicks off in Calgary, the annual event there, the rodeo.
Wait, does that mean that they're having that happen on America's birthday, the 4th of July?
Must be.
Man.
Yeah, they're celebrating that with the rodeo.
Oh. God, I love Canada.
I do too. All right, let's see. In college news, Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, and I had to look that up last year because I had no idea what a Chanticleer was, is offering free concessions at all home football games this fall.
Well, guess we're going to become season ticket holders, Randy.
You had me at free food. Any fan who has purchased a ticket to the game will be eligible to obtain a hot dog, nachos, popcorn, and a fountain drink or water each time they visit the concession stand. Fans can visit the stands as many times as they want, and all they have to do is scan each trip through the line in the forthcoming Coastal Carolina Athletics app. So you got to have the app on your phone. You go through, you scan. Okay, I'm going through here again. Get another hot dog. Get some more popcorn.
That sounds amazing. But what about the beer, Randy? Is the beer for free? Please tell me.
You have to buy your own beer. And then there are other specialty things, like maybe if you want a pretzel or a sandwich or a burger.
You got to make some money out of it.
So all they're doing, but if you want to go on the cheap, you can get a hot dog. You can get all the hot dogs you want, nachos, popcorn, water, or a soda pop.
So when you're watching a Coastal Carolina game on TV and you see the stands completely empty because everybody's still in line for their free food,
I bet I wouldn't want to be the person that has to clean up that stadium afterwards, because
no.
you're going to find popcorn. It's going to look like snow in the stands. It's going to be popcorn fights. And
That's the one thing, I mean, the trash. Hey, can we just send a nice heartfelt message to all those who clean up the stadiums afterwards?
Yeah,
you
every
guys
stadium.
you guys are the real heroes, not us podcasters that talk about the game, but the people that clean up our messes at the game.
You probably remember this when we went to the very first game ever played at Ford Field.
Oh, yep. I know what you're about to say.
The preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was the very first time they'd opened the doors to the public.
They'll tell you it was the Packers game during the regular season, but
Right.
It was a preseason game against the Steelers, and we were there.
Yep. And the stadium was so pristine.
It was clean.
There
It
was
that new stadium smell to it.
There was like some sawdust here and there where they hadn't cleaned it up yet. So they just have been working on it. But when we got to our seats, the cement was pristine and everything. The seats were all clean. When we left that game, there was beer spilled all over the cement steps and the floor, and just trash everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, they've one game and they've ruined this place.
Well, no, hold on. I thought you were going to say the real offenders. We had a family sitting in front of us. Do you remember this? It was the family sitting in front of us, and they had peanuts because under their seats where they were sitting, and they got up to leave early, it was peanut shells.
I don't remember that.
Yes, that's what I remember. I
Okay.
remember the peanut shells from this family sitting like kind of in front of us, adjacent to us.
Yeah.
And because you talked about how clean it was, and we got up or they got up, and it looked like the bottom of a old Texas Roadhouse, all the stinking peanut shells on the ground.
Oh man. But no, Coastal Carolina, good for you. We'll see how that turns out if they do it again after this year. But
We're gonna find out after
this-
one game. They're like,
this fall.
this is not financially viable.
well, you got all these college kids that,
I was gonna say the NIL.
well, they if the college kids didn't get in for free, if they bought a ticket, then they could get free food. So.
That's the trick right there.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the kids who have the free. Oh yeah, if you have your college ID, you get into the game for free.
Right.
Oh, what a tricky move,
Right.
Coastal Carolina. I see now.
Oh, you didn't pay for a ticket, so you don't get the free stuff.
Oh, dang.
Okay, let's see. Let's move on to today's birthdays. For April 8th, running back Ricky Bell, born on this date in 1955. He died in 1984 at the age of 29 from severe muscular disease of the heart. He played his college football at USC. He was the first overall pick in the 1977 NFL Draft by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played 6 NFL seasons. He was with the Buccaneers from 77 to 81, and he played for the San Diego Chargers in 1982. Now, I remember Ricky Bell because, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was a brand new team. I mean, they started in 76, so this was the second year. Number 1 draft pick and all that. And I remember going to a game in 77, and they used to have the actual program that you could buy. You could spend $5, get a really nice magazine all about the game. He was on the cover of that particular game we went to. I don't know if it was a Tampa Bay game or what, but he was on the cover, and I always remember that. But I had no idea that he passed away at the age of 29, just 2 years after he retired from the league. That I did not know. I thought he was still around, but no, age of 29. Wow, that floored me when I read that. And then the other birthday today is running back Miller Farr, born on this date in 1943. He passed away in 2023 at the age of 80. He played his college football at Wichita State and played 9 NFL seasons between 1965 and 1973. He played for the San Diego Chargers, Houston Oilers, Denver Broncos, St. Louis Cardinals, and Detroit Lions. He played in the World Football League in 1974 with the Florida Blazers and played in the championship game. They lost to the Birmingham Americans in the World Bowl. His brother was Lions running back Mel Farr, and the two were actual teammates in 1973 when Miller and Mel both played for the Lions. All right, so moving on to obituaries. We've got 5 of them this week. I usually like to stop at 4, but the last one is kind of special to me. This is where we take a moment to honor those who've made the world of football a better place. The first one is that of Ray Seals, a defensive lineman in the NFL for 8 seasons, has passed away at the age of 59. Seals did not play college football, but he played minor league football for the Syracuse Express of the Empire Football League. He signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a free agent and played for the team from 1989 to 1993. He also played for the Pittsburgh Steelers from 1994 to 1995 and played in Super Bowl 30 with the Steelers. They lost that game. He finished his playing career with the Carolina Panthers in 1997.
All right, our next obituary is that of Don Oakes, an offensive lineman and defensive tackle in the NFL and the American Football League for 8 seasons, has passed away at the age of 88. Oakes played college football at Virginia Tech and was selected in the 3rd round of the 1961 NFL Draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. He was also selected in the 21st round of the 1961 American Football League Draft by the Boston Patriots. He signed with the Eagles, where he played in 1961 and 1962. He also played for the Patriots from 1963 to 1968.
Our next obituary is Dean Wells, a linebacker in the NFL for 9 seasons. He has passed away at the age of 54. Wells played college football at Kentucky and was selected in the 4th round of the 1993 NFL Draft by the Seattle Seahawks. He played in Seattle from 1993 to 1998. He also played for the Carolina Panthers from 1999 to 2001.
Our next obituary is that of Bill Cottrell, an offensive lineman in the NFL for 5 seasons, has passed away at the age of 80. Cottrell, I believe is how you would say.
Cottrell.
Cottrell played college football at Delaware State. He played 1 season in the Continental Football League with the Richmond Rebels, and then signed with the Detroit Lions, where he played from 1967 to 1970. He holds the distinction as being the first African-American to play center in the National Football League in 1969. Cottrell finished his playing career with the Denver Broncos in 1972.
And finally today, John Vella, a tackle in the NFL for 8 seasons, has passed away at the age of 74. Vella played college football at USC and was selected in the 2nd round of the 1972 NFL Draft by the Oakland Raiders. He played for the Raiders from 1972 to 1979, but missed the 1978 season due to an injury. He finished his playing career with the Minnesota Vikings in 1980. Vella won Super Bowl 11 as a member of the Raiders. The reason I say this is special is because I just finished a chapter in an upcoming book that the Pro Football Researchers Association is putting out in a couple of years. It'll probably be out 2 years from now. But we're profiling the 1976 Oakland Raiders championship team, and I was assigned to write about John Vella, and I turned in my first draft about a month ago, and all of a sudden now I find out that he's passed away. So I didn't talk to the man when I was doing my research. Sometimes we're allowed to contact people. Other times maybe they're not in the best health and they can't do that sort of thing. So for whatever reason, I did not talk to him. But yeah, going through this guy's story and researching newspaper clippings and stuff, sounded like a very interesting guy. Had some good stories. John Madden talked about him in one of his books and how he came to be a Raider, and just a lot of cool stories. So it really hurt me when I saw that John Vella had passed away. So that was a tough day. All right. Upcoming events calendar. This Sunday, April 13th, UFL game between the San Antonio Brahmas and the Michigan Panthers in Detroit. We are going to be there. Like I said, a noon kickoff, so it's 2 hours to get there from here. So we're gonna have to, leave about 3.5, 4 hours ahead of time to get there. Yeah. So
it'll be a long day.
A long day,
but it should be fun. We've had fun going to the Panthers games. The last one we went to was that game-winning field goal by
Jake Bates.
So
64 yards.
The new kicker's got a lot to live up to. So
always have a good time at the Panthers game.
Good. I'm curious to see what kind of merch and stuff they'll have out.
Yep.
So
it's great to see Ford Field. It's not packed with 65,000 people. You can actually walk around and get a hot dog without.
Because we're taking my fiance, her dad, and his wife, and they've never been to Ford Field. And so what a better time, because Lions tickets are expensive. I think that story came out that they have the highest average ticket price per individual game. So what a time to see Ford Field is when it shouldn't be more than 10,000 people there. Right. And we'll see how it goes. It should be a good time.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, April 24th through the 26th, the NFL Draft is going to take place in Green Bay. We're not going to that one this year. Saturday, April 26th, the Women's Football Alliance season begins. And on Tuesday, April 29th, the CFL draft and their global draft are going to take place in Toronto. So CFL is right around the corner.
Oh, yeah, they're ramping up. Very excited for the CFL to get back into action, for us to finally nail down what game we're going to.
Yep.
If we're going back to Canada. So
I'd like to see another Argos game. Now that I know how to take the GO train and get in and out without any problems,
yeah,
I'd love to do that again.
Down for it. Got my passport, so we're good to go.
All right. Anything pop up on your phone?
No real breaking news. The only thing that we didn't really mention during the UFL section, though, I wanted to bring up was that the Panthers apparently traded one of my favorite players on the team, Marcus Sims. They traded him to what team was that?
He's that big tight end, isn't he?
I believe so. I'm like looking up because I just came across something that reminded me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There was an actual trade in the UFL. They traded him to the Roughnecks. He's a wide receiver, by the way. To the Roughnecks for an offensive tackle named Cam Carter. So clearly the Panthers feel like they got enough receivers. They need some offensive line help.
Yeah, always helps to have a good offensive line.
Yeah, but Sims, I liked watching Sims.
Yeah,
he was one of the few players I was like, okay, Sims, give Sims the ball.
All right, well, that's all the time we've got for this week. Join us again next week, and remember to look us up on social media as well as our YouTube page, which is at The World of Football.
Pretty much on everything.
Yeah, well, at The World of Football in the YouTube search bar.
Oh, on YouTube search bar, yeah.
Or look up The World of Football Kalamazoo.
Yep.
And TWOF Kalamazoo on all the other social media sites. Yeah, and look for some of our World of Football merchandise through TeePublic. It's a new site that we've got, and we've bought some of our own stuff on there so far. And
you got to buy your own merch first to start pimping it out.
Yeah, but we got some neat stuff, and we were even last night we were talking about possible T-shirt ideas.
Yeah, you got one, and we'll see if we can turn that into reality.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us guys sitting here in Kalamazoo talking about football.
That's right, and we hope to see you guys again next week. Is that good? Is that a better ending?
Yes.
We're still workshopping this?
Much better.
Yeah, I think it still needs some
It'll work for this week.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this installment of This Week in the World of Football. New episodes of the podcast are posted every Tuesday and can be found wherever good podcasts are found. You can find the World of Football on Facebook, Instagram, and X by searching for TWOF Kalamazoo or using the links down in the episode description. Head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the World of Football for more fun football-related content. Just search for the World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle @the World of Football. Thanks for listening and hope to see you again next time.